Today's guest is a former European, Commonwealth and EU amateur champion. She's 3-0. She's just given birth. She's back in the gym. Lisawhiteside.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
World medalist as well, don't forget.
There's so much to say about you that I thought that the time might run out, so I'll let you say it. How's life treating you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, I'm really good.
Crazy. So you've just given birth 5 weeks ago and you're back in the gym.
I am.
How is that? Are you crazy or what's going on?
And most people have been messaging me going, Lisa, what are you doing? You should be recovering still. And I'm like, I'm only back, nice and small steps. But yeah, I trained whilst pregnant up until, pretty much the last week or so. So my fitness was there. Had a pretty tough labour, so I had to recover from that. But you know what? It's given me more of a drive because I've got this little man to win a world title for now. So that's all I've got in my mind to do.
That's beautiful. You had quite a difficult time though, didn't you? With yourself and the baby as well. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, even prior to. So before end of last year, I should have been going for I can't think of it was like a WBC international title that we was going for. However, due to making weight for so long in my life of being an amateur at GB, it kind of hindered me having a child because it stopped my monthly cycles and things, which is quite a common thing in elite athletes. So I had to make the harsh decision of, well, what do I want, a family or do I continue with boxing? And obviously the main priority was a family. So at that stage, I didn't think I would box again, to be fair. But, with the help of specialists and I had to go on hormone meds and things like that, then lockdown occurred, so that must have helped. That then we fell pregnant and obviously had this little man on the way. And as soon as we got past the early stages and knew everything was fine, then all I kept thinking was, I can't wait to get back boxing. And I'd lost that love for it because of the fact that it was hindering me having a family. And I thought, I regretted thinking, had I done wrong in doing what I did with my weight and stuff? So my managers, obviously Sam and Adam from SJAM Boxing and my coach Mick, very, very supportive all the way through and said, if you want to come back, we'll support you no matter what. Excuse me. And I said, yeah, I will come back, but not at flyweight. I'm not putting my body through that again. When I first started boxing, I used to box at 60 kilos. Then I won like world and European medals as an amateur at 57 kilos to then drop down to 51 because that wasn't an Olympic weight. So, I can't say that obviously boxing at bantamweight, super bantam, that's only 53, 55. It's going to be absolutely perfect for me. And, I know I've got the strength there. I was dropping girls at 57 in the amateur games. So 53, 55 is absolutely perfect for me. But yeah, obviously little man decided to make his way, started on Christmas Eve. But the whole process took about 60 odd hours. Had to have an emergency C-section. Whereby then he actually got stuck in my pelvis, and it took about 6 of them to try and get him out, which then caused me quite a lot of damage, and it was quite scary. Hour and a half of trying to make sure I was okay, to the point where I thought, I don't think I'm going to make it. So I'm telling my husband I loved him, told him to look after Jensen, pass on messages for my family. So yeah, scary times, but we got through it. Little man's here, so he's even extra precious now. And it gives me even more fight and more desire to think, do you know what? Anybody who knows me as an amateur, of my story, of, what I've been through in my life, of losing my dad and things like that, to then have this put on top of me, fracturing my skull 5 years ago. I've got a big story and I don't want to, nothing's going to defeat me. So now my goal is I'm getting that little boy a world title. And, you know me, that means I'm getting a world title. So yeah, I can't wait.
Absolutely, beautiful story in the sense of that you've obviously got through it, and you are a fighter, Lisa. You really are. I wanted to go back to, firstly, you spoke about obviously having to make the decision between, staying an athlete per se or becoming a mother, because I don't think many people outside of sport actually know that you guys have to make a choice, really, don't you? Because your body is it's your instrument. It's part of your tool in your toolkit, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's like obviously me and my husband have been together, coming up 18 years, married 10 years, and we always, I always said to him, if we want to, if you ever say, right, it's time for a family, we've always said we want a family, but we've kind of had to delay it because of the sport. Of making weight and I can't have a baby and continue to box, obviously in the process of being pregnant and having him. So yeah, it's been tough and hard, but we've no regrets because obviously of my achievements, and we've travelled the world together and done all them things. But when it got to the point where it was saying that, got a bit dark now, to tell us turn off, sorry, that because of the fact that I've been making weight, it's caused me to not possibly have a family. Then it was like, whoa, I can't risk that, because that would be a massive regret in my life. I'm surrounded by, I have a big family, lots of nieces and nephews. I absolutely adore them all. But it's not the same of having your own, is it? So I didn't get it until he's here now. When people say, well, that feeling you have for them. And now, oh my days, I'd do absolutely anything for that little man. So yeah, I'm glad I made that decision. And in some ways, and some sort of blessing, as horrible as COVID has been, it kind of gave me that time span now where I've not really missed out on anything. And the fantastic work Eddie's doing with the female boxing now, I can hopefully get a part of that and get in the mix with everyone.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is such an amazing story that you have. Wow. I mean, what you've gone through, and yet there's still such a positive air about you, Lisa. Do you know what I mean? It's beautiful.
Yeah, do you know what? That's what I like to do. And, I do inspirational talks to not just to schools, but I do them to businesses, to adults. And I was just recently about to do one, but it's been delayed because of COVID and things. But to people that are struggling at the moment, and it's nice to be able to say, do you know what? Anything that gets thrown at you, just you can get through it and you can push on. And especially at these current times now, I've just done a video for one of the amateur clubs down in London, Rathbone Amateurs, and I'm going to do a Zoom with them on Thursday, just for the young people that are wanting to be amateur boxers, but there's nothing there at the moment. And it's just like, what, get through it, push through, and then prove everyone wrong. And I think that's what the element of it for me is, to try and help and support other people, because I know, I've had tough times, but I know other people probably had tougher times. So yeah, it's nice to be able to do that side of things.
Yeah. I was going to say as well, it sounds like your lockdown has been very, let's say, exciting as well.
A little boy now. So.
Yeah, very good.
Smiling at the other side of the room here.
Sorry, what's your son's name?
Jensen.
That's
Yeah.
gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I have been following you for a long time, and we're going to go back into the amateurs in a bit, but I have to mention it.
Yeah.
I disappeared off of social media the other day, and then all of a sudden I came back. Lisawhiteside calling out people. So talk to me about that, because there has been a lot of sort of talk around it, and people are saying that, oh my God, you're not even a bantamweight. So before we get really deeply into it, what did you say to Miss Ebanie Bridges?
Basically, she'd put on a quote, a post of some sort, of mentioning how she would like to be on the undercard of the Ball Courtney fight in April, and it would bring good. I don't know. I can't even. My memory's shocking, but it would be great to be on that show. So I just put on. I never go on Twitter. So it popped up, and I was like, me and my coach Mick, we'd said, you know what, give me an 8-week camp now, and I'd be absolutely firing on all cylinders. And it's 9 weeks now, but it was 10 weeks, the Eddie Earns show. So I'd already said to Sam, see if Eddie can get me on that show. He said, well, it just depends because of COVID restrictions of how many bouts you can have and so on and so forth. But you might get out in maybe May time. So, all right. And then I seen her say this tweet. So I just put on, well, I'll fight you then. But yes, I did put, if you dare, bring it on, Eddie Hearn and Sam Jones. But do you know what? I'd never, ever call people out. I wasn't calling her out. But yeah, I did put on, if you dare, because so many people have messaged me saying, you need to be more vocal, Lisa. And I'm like, but that's not me. I'm vocal in my boxing. Just, I'll box and I'll show you who I am in my boxing. So yeah, not thinking, I don't even know who she is, right? I just seen a name, and I've heard that she was supposed to have been a challenger for the belt, but then she got injured. That's all I knew about her. Oh, my battery's getting low, sorry. And so then she said, so then I just left it at that. And then next minute, it just went boom. And I was laughing with my husband. I'm like, every half an hour, I'm like, there's another 20 notifications. Bear with me, my battery's going to die. So yeah, so I was just like, and then every flipping person, I don't even know who they are, jumped on it, saying all sorts of comments. And then she actually went quiet and never commented. She actually liked the tweet, but never commented on it. And then, to be fair, I didn't even really follow anything. It just kind of kept going ping, 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 ping. And I just kind of left it to it. But she then, I think, in the end, put on something about, I'll give anybody, I'm a down-to-earth person. I'll give anybody the opportunity. But with this, I don't know what this word means, with this clout chasing me, I thought it would be a good fight, but she's weak, small and weak. I don't need her, or something on them lines.
So, sorry, just so that I'm understanding this, you're weak.
I'm small and weak, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, can we just start the intro again?
I know, yeah.
World, European, Commonwealth and EU amateur champion. And I have to say, although you're 3-0, I think I saw your debut. And I think you took Danny Hodges to pieces. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Good debut. I was shocked the ref didn't stop it. Utmost respect to Danny. We've sparred since, you know what I mean? I've never, you know, I'm always a sports person, sportsmanship, and you know, so we gave each other a hug at the end. She stared me out at the weigh-in, which was hilarious. And then, yeah, I punched a gum shield out of her mouth 5 times. And the ref, you know, he did give her quite a bit of a leeway, but 2-minute rounds and things like that. But even afterwards, you can see the footage, I wobbled the legs and everything. And the coach and Danny, you know, utmost respect to both of them, were like, yeah, you wobbled me. And we had a spar after that, and absolute utmost respect to her. So, yeah, that was my debut. My second fight was a bit of a nobody, a journeywoman who'd, yeah, I think she'd had like lost 70, knew a game and just kind of ran and hid and held. And then my third fight was against a Russian. I think she'd been in a last fight before that. She'd been in with someone ranked, I'm sure, in the top 3 in the world, and went the distance with her over an 8-rounder. And I stopped her in the second round. So, but that was obviously at flyweight, and I'm coming back at bantamweight now, super bantam. Either weight, I'm not bothered. So, yeah, it does make me laugh how she says I was weak. I'm weak. I'm not. She's obviously studied me. I don't know, but I haven't even looked at anything about her. I'm not going to, am I? I'm not bothered. Like I've said, and I've always said, I will box anybody. So I don't need to go saying you're this, you're that. I don't know anything about her. I believe you probably know her more than me, Jackie. I asked you, didn't I, the other day, like, who actually is she? You know, I just put it out there and offered an opponent for that fight. And then, yeah, it went all crazy online. And I think it's more the fact that she's a social, I don't even know what the word is, but a socialite, you know, people that have lots and lots of followers. And you know, yeah, you know, I'm here in my hoodie, hair scraped back, but I've just been and done a boxing session because that's what I'm about. I'm about boxing.
Yeah.
I'm not about looking pretty and things like that. And I like to get dressed up, but not in lockdown. There's no point.
Do you know what's amazing is, number one, you know, that team that you've built with your husband, not just only as a family, as in boxing, you know, a solid ground. What's funny about it is that you've had your baby, you've come back, you've dropped a bomb, and then you've disappeared off to cuddle your baby. So let's talk further about Ebanie Bridges, because I have to say, I'd like to give you a chance to respond to some of the things on Twitter, because listen, I don't like to get into beef. But some people have said some, you know, they've asked some, you know, legitimate questions, which I thought would be something that you might want to answer. So let me just find them. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're aware, but obviously I've been involved in boxing for a few years now. So I thought I would be a matchmaker for you. And my tweet was about, you know, basically the Ball Courtney 2 and wishing them both well.
Yeah.
Please, can Lisawhiteside box the winner? So that was my tweet. Make this happen, Mr. Sam Jones and Eddie Hearn. Gigantic. Bums on seat, dust up.
Sounds good to me.
Yes, so I've had some. Oh, actually, I've had some responses. So there's a lady called Stacey Smith, and here's her response. You know, it was Ebanie Bridges that had the title shot mandated and approached Matchroom for the fight, and the Ball matchup was signed, right? Question mark. So why would she step aside? Any thoughts on that?
I've no idea. I just believe that she had an injury and that she should have been boxing, you know, and then it didn't happen. So I have no idea whatsoever. I don't, like I say, it's horrible to say it, but I don't really know much about this Ebanie Bridges. You know, who is she? Where's she come from? You know, yes, she's had 4 pro fights, but against, I believe, and I've not even searched that, but I believe against nobodies. And has she got any other background in martial arts or boxing or amateur boxing? No idea whatsoever. So it's hard to say.
Yeah. Okie dokie. So her response is, and Eddie knows this, hence why I'm getting the winner. Without me, the belt would probably be in Oz, where it was originally set to take place, or in America, far away from the Brits. I was always meant to fight for it, and I decided I wanted to fight in front of the UK fans. So that's Ebanie's response. Do you have a response to that?
It's funny because obviously then when I then offered for her to then be able to have a fight, it got kiboshed, didn't it? And it wasn't of interest, and it was no benefit to her. But you know, if you want to come out over to the UK and do that, then do so. But obviously, I think she wants the easy route, in the fact that she's got this fight in Australia, which is with a nobody, to then obviously get the winner of Ball or Courtney. And utmost respect for them 2 girls, but they're going to have a very easy first defence fight, aren't they? So I wouldn't want that as a world champion. You know, you want to if you want to show that you're the best, you want to box the best, don't you? And I can't see that Courtney and Ball are going to have any issues that they've got her as their first defence at all. You know, every credit to them two girls, and they've done really good and pushed things for women in Britain. So it's good that they've got that, and you know, I can't wait to most probably box both of them. You know, box the loser and then box the title winner, hopefully, and then it'll become mine.
So my understanding is that Ebanie has had 4 professional fights but no other combat experience. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding. But when we talk about Ball and we talk about Courtney, obviously Courtney had lots of experience in the amateurs. She was actually at IBC when I was there as a coach, and obviously Ball has fought as a martial artist, world champion, etc. So I guess my question to you, Lisa, is, you know, you've had 3 fights. Why do you think after just 3 fights you should be allowed to come in and fight for that belt?
If I'm going to be truly honest, and it's hard because I'm not one of these people that'll, you know, big up myself, but I know that I'm levels above. You know, I've had over 140 amateur fights. I know that obviously Ball and Courtney have had experience. Courtney obviously in the kickboxing side of it. Courtney has had amateur experience, but not at a very high level. I know people that have beaten her, and you know, but you know, she's developed and done massive things in the pro game. So utmost respect to her. I'm not here to diss people or anything like that, but it's just knowing my own ability. You know, the then last 3 fights were of no, you know, they weren't pushing me out of my limits. I need to box better people to show you my capabilities, like I have done, obviously winning the Commonwealth Games, winning a world silver medal at the Olympic weight of 51 on a split decision. You know, I was just off the brink of becoming a world champion. I've won national titles, you know, 7, 8 times. So it's not that I've just come from an amateur background like Courtney has done, where, yeah, she's had the experience, but not got the achievements like I have done. You know, I was on GB for 6 years, doing it full time, traveling the world, boxing against tough Russians and, you know, things like that. So I've got that experience. You know, these past 3 amateur fights, going back from 3 minutes as amateurs to 2 minutes, has been disappointing. You know, I want the pros to be in 3s as well, because you can't run from you and hold you and hide from you, because that's the unfortunate thing with 2s, isn't it? So, you know, I can't say that, oh, I'll just smash everyone up. I'm not that type of person, but I know I'll quite happily, you know, be comfortable in getting in the ring with anybody at bantamweight, super bantam, and I will become a world champion. And I think the only problem I'm going to have is, will people not want to box me? Yeah. And that's what I don't like about the pro game, the business side of it, not the boxing competitive side.
Yeah. Good answer. To be honest, that's the thing that I dislike about the pro scene as well, because obviously in the amateurs, you know, you have to fight, you know, who the matchmaker is, as at club level, it's whoever you're matched with. And then obviously as you go on to GB, etc., you're going to have to fight somebody that's evenly matched. It's a 50-50 fight. They're all 50-50 fights.
You go to World Championships, go to Europeans, Commonwealths, it's done on a draw. A draw is made at the beginning of the tournament. So it's like me for the Commonwealths. In my semi-finals, so my quarterfinals was the Indian, which was probably the ranked one just below me. So I had, you know, the best one that I could have come across straight away. Semi-finals, the Australian in Australia. So what you're thinking? Oh, are they going to try and pull this decision from you? It's out taken out of your hands. You get who you're given. It's a draw's made, and that's who you have to box. So that's.
But they're all quality, aren't they? They're all quality fighters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially like European level, world level, you're not gonna get an easy fight.
So I guess for all the doubters out there, you've kind of just laid bare your pedigree in boxing. And like you just said, and I'll be honest with you, Lisa, this is something that I worry about. You're an excellent boxer. I've been following your career since the amateurs. And yes, I'm kind of wondering whether people will duck you, to be honest.
That's the only fear I've got. And I just hope, like promoters like the likes of Eddie Hearn, you know, the good thing with Eddie is he wants people and he wants the British to see them good fights, doesn't he? So I just hope he gets me in that mix. You know, I'm not saying, oh, I'm now this, so put me straight into it. But I don't want them rubbish journey women fights. I want to get straight into it. And do you know what I mean? If I was the opponent, I'd be thinking, well, she's just come back from a baby. She's just had how much time off? When's the best time to box her? Well, if I were them, I'd be boxing me now. Yeah, but that's up to them. But I don't know. On another hand, I'm super fired up, and I've got a little boy now to think of, and everything I do, nothing's going to defeat me because I'm getting what I want for that little man.
I saw a fight, I think it was a couple of months ago. Michael Bacoli didn't box to his potential. His wife gave birth. Life changed for him, and then all of a sudden the next fight he comes out and he wins a belt. You know, would that be the icing on the cake? You know, you've gone through the tough times, you've gone through the tough childbirth. Would that be on the icing on the cake for you to just come back and nick everyone's belts?
Yeah, definitely. And do you know what a story and what an inspiration for everyone else. You know, we're all going through such a horrific time at the moment, you know, not just on top of obviously getting through the horrendous side of getting the little man here of the birth. We then contracted COVID, I'm guessing, because so me, John, and baby got COVID, but so did my mum. And God, what? I'm 5 weeks of having a newborn. My mum got took into hospital in an ambulance on her own without any of us, and we didn't know if we were going to see her again. And that's with having a newborn as well. And it's been horrible, horrible times. But do you know what? I spoke to my mum, and before she went, I went, "Come on, mum. Jensen needs his nana," and she fought, and she's home now. You know, she had days where they were saying she was going into intensive care, and you're just hearing all these stories on the TV, and we got her out. And again, that's that fight, isn't it? So unfortunately, me and my family have had a tough time. We've been through some tough times in our life, and I keep getting hit with tough things. You know, I can't just have a little boy and give birth to him. I have to go through the horrendous thing, you know, then COVID, and then my mum. And so now it's like, do you know what? I'm going to fight and just not prove people wrong, because I've proven people what you can do in tough times, but I'll continue to do that and hopefully give people the inspiration to continue. Obviously, at this current time, mental health's a massive thing, isn't it? And you know what? You can get through it, and anything is possible. You know, I'm having sleepless nights with a newborn baby, panicking if my mum was going to get out of hospital, but I'm like, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to win a world title for my family. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Lisa, number one, I'm so glad that everybody is now healthy. Thank God for that. You are, you know, your story, you're absolutely right. Your story is a phenomenal story. And what I've noticed about professional boxing is that a backstory is something that you can, I don't want to use the word sell, but you can promote, because people say the word inspirational, I think, too quickly and too easily for people. And I'm not saying this easily because I have watched you throughout your career. The reason why I'm laughing as well is I remember, I don't even know which ABA finals it was. It was one of the many. It was one of the many. And I remember you absolutely smashing the daylights out of, I can't even remember who it was. And I remember afterwards, you getting absolutely, I was going to swear then, you getting a telling off from Amanda that you didn't box well. And to be fair, that was you apparently boxing not so well. And it was, I mean, and let me put this into perspective for people that are watching in. There is boxing, and then there is, again, something that I think is used far too often when people talk about boxing brain and boxing IQ. Miss Lisawhiteside has boxing IQ, baby.
No, thank you very much.
So listen, I am so grateful for you coming on to Shadowboxing UK.
No, thank you for having me. It's been lovely to have a chat, and yeah, it's been good. And I just hope, you know, this journey can continue, and obviously follow me on the journey. And I'm sure we'll have lots of interviews and positive things, and then hopefully there'll be one with me holding some belts, which will be good.
Yeah, listen, I wish you all the luck in the world. I know that pretty soon we're going to see, is that baby?
Yeah, it was. I'm just looking over, he's squeaky in the back. He's in the kitchen, and John took him in the other room.
Oh, bless him. Right, so listen, just, you know, take it easy. Take it easy with the old training. Don't get too greedy.
Mick, my coach. Mick's been my coach from amateur days to professional days. He's my best friend as well. And like, obviously, I've mentioned to you off camera before, I fractured my skull 5 years ago. Didn't think I'd box again. This was before the Commonwealth Games. And he was there for me all the way. And he is my best friend. And I just know that, you know, the journey we're going to have together, it's not just for me to get a world title. Do you know what I mean? I want to get him a world title because he deserves it for the coach he's been and the best friend he's been for me. So, yeah, can't wait.
The last thing I will say, though, is, so people watching, if you want to fight Lisawhiteside, if I was you, I'd get it in now because she's just had a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Cheers, Jackie. Nice to speak to you.
If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber of Shadowboxer UK, we'd love to see you, so please go ahead and subscribe now.